God, I'm pumped.
All right, let's talk about what we witnessed tonight. Kings and Nets, obviously the end result. You put 153 points on the board. That's pretty incredible. Let's go from the jump. What really stood out to you, maybe in the big picture or in this game tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, Morgan Reagan?
Well, if we did go with overall picture, because I think we should just start with who had the most magic then. If you want to start there.
Sure.
Okay. Terrence Davis,
Oh.
the epitome of staying ready. And that's not easy to do. You saw in that first quarter, he didn't even play. Comes in the second quarter, has 10 points in 11 minutes. And right there, you're like, okay, he's doing something. Dogs are hyped and running too. So you'll see some doors flying open. Right there, you see he's doing something off the bench, staying ready after seeing some games with not even playing. Then Keegan Murray, we'll talk about more about what's going on with him, but he goes out. So Terrence Davis also starts that second half. And he starts that second half, and he starts it strong. He's hitting shots, you guys. He's making some big steals and big moments. And I say big moments because it's not like they were, about to necessarily lose the lead. But he kept the momentum rolling, and he didn't stop. He didn't let off the gas pedal.
Terrence Davis was huge in this game. He came in that second quarter, like you mentioned. And you could talk about the scoring, which was fantastic, but it was his energy and activity. I think Davis has done a great job rebounding, but it was also deflections. I mean, I wrote down in my notes, second quarter, TD, good energy, forces a turnover after a Fox missed layup, and then forces a jump ball. It was just that activity right away. We're not even talking about a scoring play, right? Fox misses a layup after a turnover. He wished he had had back. TD gets a backcourt steal. Awesome, right? And then you had the play where he came from behind and was able to force a jump ball on the Brooklyn Nets. It was great hustle. But then he's got a steal and then a three. Then he goes off the dribble, scores, ooh and on in the crowd at Golden One Center. Next play in the backcourt. He stays aggressive, steals it, and dunks it.
Dude.
It's a lift. The crowd's back engaged. All of a sudden, the Kings are making a big-time run. Remember, this game was tied at 40-40 in the second quarter, and the Kings went, let's go ahead and go on, a 24-2 run. It was 16-0 at one point, and that was such a pivotal point of the game for Sacramento.
It was. And you talk about that point and everything that Terrence Davis was doing in those aggressive moments. He was also making smart basketball plays. There was a time when he had an open three and instead saw he had a lane and just went and took it for the two. Those little moments, those disciplined moments from a guy like Terrence Davis, who sometimes we've seen in the past get streaky, chuck it up, gets excited to be out there. And instead, he stayed composed and did exactly what his team needed from him off the bench tonight. It was just an incredible, magical performance from Terrence Davis on national television.
Terrence Davis, the second player in Kings history to come off the bench with 25-plus points, 6 triples, and 7-plus rebounds. Who's the other guy? Mark Spears did not put that out. I should have looked that up ahead of time.
Damn!
But Terrence Davis ends up come back in the game, hitting a late three. 31 points on 12 of 16, 7 of 10 from 3. He had 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals.
Amazing.
We had a TD game on TNT. He played 26 minutes off the bench, and that was significant. And you brought up the third quarter, and you're exactly right. Keegan Murray goes down. There's not a lot of details on how severe the back thing is.
Sure.
They're going to evaluate him tomorrow to get a better idea of it. But it was bad enough for him not to come back in the game. So the Kings did start Terrence Davis in the second half. Second half, he gets it going right away. He stayed hot, hit a three, put the Kings up 86-63 at the 8:56 mark. Yeah, they had 86 points at the 8:56 mark.
Hey, you guys, they were just making everything too. I mean, you look at their three-pointers tonight, and we can talk about the way that guys were just feeling confident. But I'll tell you, the confidence started from the start, not only because they saw their shots falling, but because of what they were doing on the offensive end. They were getting those paint touches. Oh, who was there? Domantas Sabonis, being the beastly man that he is, just going at Claxton in the paint, going up for so many easy twos, just battling down there. But then when the net started to collapse just a little bit, and we're like, okay, maybe we should do something about this, guys, we're ready on the outside. Get ready in position to shoot that ball every single time. Shot it with confidence. Great passes from Sabonis, passing it out to the open guys.
Sabonis was aggressive to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like he set the tone a bit for Sacramento. I mean, it was like old school post moves. It's like, am I
Spin
watching?
moves.
Is this Patrick Ewing back in like 95 again? Like, what am I watching? But it's like, hey, I got Claxton on me. He can't guard me. And you know what happens when I'm a basketball player and that guy can't guard me? I'm getting mine. And he got his. Sabonis missed how many shots tonight, Morgan? The answer, 0.
Oh, my God. I love it.
Sabonis,
Oh my
17
God.
points, 7 rebounds, 7 dimes on 6 of 6 shooting. He also made all 5 of his free throws. He played 27 minutes in the game. I thought he was fantastic. He also had in the second quarter, a great block on a Seth Curry drive.
Yes.
That was huge. And then who hit the 3 after?
Who?
Terrence Davis.
Oh, my God. Yeah. It was just, you felt the energy and the synergy between every single guy out there. When a good play like that, a defensive play would happen, guys were capitalizing on it for the Sacramento Kings. And Sabonis set the tone early with the way that he was dominating in the paint. It was so fun seeing that low post domination, that paint domination, because you don't see that all the time in today's game. But when the Nets were starting to adjust and Sabonis, picked up a few more fouls, they were also hitting their outside shots, but they stayed committed, getting those paint touches, driving it in, passing the ball around. It was just some beautiful basketball being played consistently by everyone on the Sacramento Kings.
I thought this offense could be a top 5 offense in the NBA.
Uh-huh.
And it hasn't let me down. It really hasn't. They have done such a great job of building this team that on any given night, it's like, it's all right. Like back in the day, if Fox goes 5 of 12 in a game, you're not winning that game. Fox had 14 points. He had 9 assists. He was 1 of 5 from 3. But you didn't really notice that because there's so many other pieces. Davis had it going. Herter had stretches. Sabonis. They've got a ton of offensive weapons. And it allows him to
play basketball.
Just to go out there and play his game.
And to fully play on both ends of the floor as well. Because you talk about that and you look at his stat line and you're like, okay, that's what De'Aaron Fox did. But no, it's what he did in those moments and how effective he was in those moments. For example, they were taking the ball out of bounds, sideline out of bounds. He noticed the Nets weren't looking. What does he do? Turn on the Jets, go downhill, boom. Everyone's back on their heels and he gets an easy 2. Just those smart plays, making those smart plays help momentum for the next time down. And he had so many of those plays tonight where he just led the team. He looked like I had that on my note, and the first line I had was exactly, just an effing leader. Enjoy the good. You don't have to look ahead and be like, but does this mean playoffs? But does this mean that this team's going to do this? Like, you don't have to look at the final conclusion, because right now what you're witnessing and whatever it's making you feel, and if that's a good feeling, ride that journey and enjoy that, because believe your eyes, the product that you're seeing is fantastic right now.
I put a poll question before the show, and it has 1,700 plus votes.
Wow.
Are the Kings a good team? 76% of people say, hell yes, I believe. 21% said, looks good, but we'll see. 3% said, I've seen this before, Kings.
I love it. That's good.
Well, I think, Kings fans aren't ignorant. They know that things can turn for the worse. And I don't think we should lose sight of the fact that this team still has flaws defensively, and if the shots aren't falling some nights, they're going to lose games. And
we can point out a lot of things.
I mean, it's kind of like in the beginning of the year when they're 0-4, and when you're in it, you're just like, how are they ever going to win a game? You just feel that hopeless feeling, and then you win a few in a row, and you go, how are they going to lose a game? Well, you lose a game by not coming out focused or missing a ton of shots or just having a bad day.
Energy, yeah.
Bad days are going to happen. And you're right. Just enjoy the ride. There's going to be some downs this year. There will inevitably be some downs. But all right, how do you get through it? They got through that 0-4 start, which to me says a lot about this team, a lot about Mike Brown. I think this is a good team. And I also said last year when they were 5-4, when they put up like 140 points at home on the Hornets when they won by 30, I'm like,
Oh,
I think this time's different. I get sucked in sometimes for sure. But I do think with this team, it has the look and the energy of something different.
It's how they're winning. It's how they're losing is what is different. Where in teams in the past, how they were losing all looked the same.
They would get hot sometimes, right? When they won and they would knock down some shots and you'd win.
But how they
games.
were losing always looked the same too. Just like there's a lot of bad basketball where right now in some of these losses, you're not seeing just terrible basketball. You're seeing tweaks that need to be made.
I think the other thing that Brown's really trying to establish is like stay present. And they have a mental health coach on their team, like a strength coach.
Smart.
And that's the biggest thing is stay in the moment. What are you doing right now? Don't think about all the 800 other things you have to do before this game.
I love that.
What are you doing in this moment? Right this second. You stay present. And for a team like Sacramento, where at times I feel like in the past when they've had a good stretch, like they've won 7 of 10 out of some, out of nowhere, or they had a good week, they feel themselves a little bit. And that's why I think I was worried about tonight. I'm like, are they going to feel themselves a little bit after that Warriors game? You beat the defending champs on your home floor. They were locked in tonight. Not only were they locked in, then they made shots. They had a crazy hot night shooting. These type of nights shooting will not happen all the time.
No.
Again, I think the perspective we all have to realize tonight, the Kings were 1 point shy of breaking the franchise record for points in a game. That's insane. Think about the great Kings teams from back in the day, right? The high octane offenses. Of course, today's different with the amount of 3-point 3-point attempts they're taking. They took 41 tonight, but yeah, I'm really encouraged by where things are headed, and your statement I'm going to remember for a long time. I feel like it's Mike Brown was the solution to all the Kings' problems. And you look at what has transpired for his career and what he has learned from it, everyone's bought in, dude. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think about how one guy can help foster that type of environment.
Yep.
And have that belief. And it's from him to his coaches to the front office and all the players. When you can have a Terrence Davis come in and do that, you can put Rashawn Holmes into a game tonight and him not be all pissed off because he used to be a starter and he's playing in a 30-point game. He goes out there and he's playing with the energy and the spunk that you like. That's because of good coaching. That's because of a good culture. They're not through yet. They still have a ways to go and work to do. It's headed in the right direction. I truly believe that.
And that's what really matters right now in Kingsland. That's what matters.